I recently took the sexological bodywork training, which was amazing, and
And where did you take
I
it?
studied in Australia with Deej, Juventine, and Uma, and it was fantastic. And I'm really excited about the training that we're offering because I feel like what we're offering is amazing adjunct to what I learned and a real deepening of tools and skills. And one thing that I know that sex bod practitioners will get a lot out of in our training is touch practice and touch skills. So it's not a prerequisite to be a sexological body worker to have body work experience. So a lot of people go in well-intentioned, and there's a lot of unshaming that happens and a lot of attention to arousal, and we're really going to be working in the therapeutic direction.
I see. So what I've noticed as a provider of anatomy instruction for many sexological body workers is people are swimming, that they don't really have a sense of the structures that they're touching as they're touching them.
That's right.
And I think that there's nothing like being guided by two practitioners, you and me, who have between us tens of thousands, many tens of thousands of hours of experience of touching structures and knowing exactly what we're touching.
That's
and being
right.
able to communicate that, how to feel through the layers to know whether you're touching skin or connective tissue or a muscle. If it's a muscle, what muscle is it? How do you know how to identify that muscle? How do you know how to identify a bony landmark? How do you know that what you're touching is a scar and not a tight muscle, etc.? Being able to have those fine levels of differentiation in your fingertips. You have to learn it from somebody who's been there, which is the way I learned it, and I presume the way you learned it in your Rolfing training. Yeah. So
Yeah. So I want people to really have that experience of layered touch, how to feel through layers, the precision, because oftentimes people say, like, I've gotten this work and why does it work when you do it? And I really believe that it's precision. It's knowing where you are when you're doing it and being able to identify that.
having the confidence that it's even possible. A lot of people feel so lost when they touch tissue and they don't know where they are. And it's learnable.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And
Yeah.
just, it's different to learn anatomy from a book or even from a three-dimensional model than it is to have your hands in it, especially something like a vagina,
Operative
because
word
it's dark.
in it. Yes.
You can't see inside, so
Right.
you don't, you can't look at it while you're doing it.
Yes.
You can, but you can't see, you can't see through something only with your, other senses. So it's really practice that helps. And I feel like in the sexological bodywork training, that was just out of the scope of what we were doing. We didn't have, we had one day for that work. So this is a way to look at it in a much more detailed manner, from the bones to the muscles to the physiology. So that's one reason. Another reason is because our training is really focusing on women's pelvic health, and specifically gynecological and reproductive procedures and the scar tissue that ensues from them, and birth injuries and birth trauma. So in my training, out of 20 women, let's say 15 of them 15 of us had had babies. I think that there was only one out of the 15 that hadn't felt a pelvic alteration and wasn't still dealing with that. And I thought, this is crazy that we're here working with pelvic health and
Here we are.
sexuality,
Yes.
but this is not the central part of it, because that's just that's like the baseline, is just that, those procedures and that physiological reality.
Yes. Yes. Well, clearly prevalence is queen here, that there are many, many thousands of women, I would say, sort of, looking at it from a marketing standpoint, is that the market is infinite.
It is.
Of women who have experienced some kind of issue as a result of childbirth or as a result of some other kind of sexual trauma. Sexological bodywork for this particular subset of problems should be as normal, as ordinary, and as available as a yoga class. You should be able to walk down your block and find your local sexological bodyworker who knows how to help with these things.
That'd be awesome.
And that's a lot of people, a small army or a large army.
That's right.
I mean, maybe an army isn't the best way to characterize it, but many, many, many people who are well-trained and well-versed and understand the potential of normalizing pelvic function, elimination function, and sexual function non-surgically for people who've experienced any kind of pelvic floor trauma. And not only women. I mean, the truth is, men experience pelvic floor trauma as well.